I can get my smoker going without having to relight it. That'd be great. It's been about 30 minutes. All right, this one's got 2. Yes, I'm fumbling around. It's supposed to rain, 30% chance of 4 o'clock. You got about 30 minutes before that 30% chance is here. I don't see anything. I'm not a real big fan of these types of inner covers. Just don't really like them. They're heavier, but more bees are coming in from foraging. Got more bees to deal with. Okay, these look really good. I'm going to take one of those supers and add it to the top. Okay, I'm not going to go down there and check it. I mean, it's just boiling over the top. Maybe I can invest like in a GoPro, and of course then I wouldn't be able to like talk to you and look at you. But I guess I will eventually learn how to like put videos together. I need to get a computer. I haven't had a computer since I graduated college, since I've had an iPhone. I haven't needed one. But this hive is bearding quite a bit. I believe there's a lot of ventilation here because there's a lot of holes and gaps and stuff in these old bee boxes down there. But this will add room. I can clearly see comb and wax all the way on all these. These are 9 frames down here. I should have put a propane trap on top of this. Right in the flight path. Give these bees a chance to kind of move. mentioned before, I don't like this bee suit. I don't like the way this hit, because you have to turn your whole body. There's a cow over there. To look, or this right here is going to be in your way. I don't like it. But also, this is a two-piece, meaning they can land down here and crawl up underneath my jacket. So I kind of need a one-piece with a round deal, a round veil. I don't like the round veil that I have in there because the way it makes, I probably complain about this enough. You know, this needs, this big old gap right there. I think this one will be better. There's a piece of wood missing there. I'll just do that. You know, being clumsy in the bee yard's worse than being clumsy in the operating room. Yeah, it's got a better seal than that. This cover really doesn't go with this inner cover. I'm hopeful that I can use those two boxes over here. So far I've got a net 0 of supers added. I was fixing to be a -1, and this made it a net 0. Man, I just realized that's a deep. I can't stand deep supers. I did that because I thought that one was ready. It was fixing to outgrow the hive, but it was queenless. You know, I didn't have any regular medium supers, so I just added that in a hurry in the bind. But obviously, I didn't need to, so I have it out here as a super. Anyway, let's see what's going on over here. There we go. In the flight path. Two supers. This one beards quite a bit too. slots full of bees. I see wax. There's 10 frames up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 10 frames. I believe these were all foundation. I want to add another super. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not harvesting. I probably could harvest that. I'm not going to pull it out and look at it right now. I just want to get in and out. Both these boxes are new. They were painted before I bought them, and I waxed them. It messes the paint up a little bit, but most importantly, the wax is there to make them last, you know, for a decade or two. I don't care about the paint as much as I do the wax. I don't have my knife, so this sucks. This tool is not cutting it for me, literally. Whew. Whew. Man, leaning over, I'm getting like orthostatic hypotension. I gotta start walking and doing some heavy lifting, farmer walks and things like that, loaded carries. Lose some weight. I think I'm in a bind with my back, my neck, my truck tire fell off. It's been pretty painful just to move around. This used to be so much easier, but I get to the point where I can't do it as long and take more breaks. It's just painful. I get tired a lot quicker, but I believe if you're going to be a beekeeper, if you're getting started kind of later in life, you know, 30s or 40s, get in shape. I'm not in shape. Cardio and power walks. You know, not power walks like you need like power like farmer walks, suitcase carries, platter carries, loaded carries. Be the fastest way to build up strength in your core. You'll gain more strength doing that than you will be doing like a standard bench press or trying to bodybuild type stuff. You know, a lot of bodybuilders and strong guys, they have a hard time. bench press 400, 500, 600 pounds. But having to carry heavy stuff from one place to the other is they can do it. It just takes some time to get used to it because they haven't been doing it as part of their training. I mean, I'm speculating. Like, if they have not been doing it as part of the training, they would have a hard time carrying a bag of corn from your truck to the deer stand. That kind of thing. It's harder than you would think. Sure, they add it to the routine or they do that kind of stuff more often, it's easier, but starting off. But I think for a beekeeper, those kind of workouts are probably the best because you're carrying heavy boxes from one place to the other. Just doing deadlifts and things like that and bench press, squats are not going to get you in the kind of shape you need to be to carry stuff back and forth. That's my opinion. Most importantly, I think, is the cardiovascular, just being able to do this. And, I need both. Very easy to have a heart attack. 3, 6, 9, 10. Got 10. All right, this is good news. And I always say propolis. I believe the correct way is propolis, like you're propping something up. And I think most people say propolis, but I say propolis because it sounds like in spell similar to propofol. I'm familiar with propofol. So even if you were to like correct me, I wouldn't care. I'm gonna call it propolis. I'm smiling. I do think the correct term is propolis. And I do like to mix propolis in the wax that I'm melting for the beehives. Bees use it and it helps them fight off pathogens. I feel like, if I melt some of it and it gets into the, in the inner grains of the wood, I think it helps protect them even more. Beeswax, not so much. I have added beeswax to it, but the beeswax will melt and you'll see the beeswax on top melting down. The paraffin, the microcrystalline, not so much. It makes sense that you would use beeswax, right? Because it's beehives, but the melting point is too low to do the benefit that you needed to do. I mean, if you're going to dip your boxes in melting wax, it's so that the moisture will come out and the paraffin and the microcrystals will suck in and also stay on the outside and basically coat your entire box full of that concoction and protect it from the weather, the water, and waterproof it. And there are places that do that with beeswax, but the beeswax will just melt out. And then but like I mentioned in my videos, I've had some comb left over. I'm not going to render it. I'll throw it in there and get the beeswax and get the slum gum in there, and it causes that look a little bit, but it's okay. It's all about the bees keeping their homes happy. Let's hope that the phone is still recording, so all I see is a black screen. And let's hope that these bees are doing well. There's pollen going in there. So, there's probably eggs in there. You can't base everything on pollen, but it's good to see pollen's going in there. If you're watching it for 20 minutes and you don't see any pollen going in there, there's pollen going in the ones next to it, it's usually a sign that something's wrong. But having pollen going in there is not a guarantee that something is right. And I forgot to add the swipper sheet to that, didn't I? I did. I can see y'all. All right, I'll do it in a minute. Not so much. I don't think they're ready for an additional super. There's bees up in here, not a lot. This is frames with a comb in it. And I see nectar. It's not being capped. You know, we're not having the, I don't think we're having the flow like normal. One of the beekeepers told me the clover this time of year is not being what it usually is. I think we have tallow, which is probably the best. We got some privet. I'll pull some of this. I need to look down there and make sure that I got brood. Lots of bees, lots of bees. Some of these frames need to be replaced. Broken ends, there's comb on there, I need to repair them, but where's my little frame holder? As I'm talking, I keep hearing like a truck or something pulling up, right? And I keep looking for, like, maybe it's the owners of the property. I look around, there's nothing there, but I got this fan going right here. I forget. All right, there's 9 frames in here, so I'm just going to go straight to the middle. I feel pretty good about this hive though. I just wish that would be more drawn out. Yep, there's some brood right there on the top. You see that? That's actually the bottom of the frame, but good. My first look was this side and I thought, oh, it's just nectar, but there's brood right there. Lots of brood right there. All right, all right. Nice and slow. honestly and truly, like this 9-frame setup in the brood box, that might be why it's done that way. The guy that I inherited this from has forgotten more than I will ever know about bees. So I don't mean to be critical. It's just I don't particularly like doing it that way, and I have done it that way. Not even intentionally, but just. All right, so I'm just going to put these suckers back on there. And the fellow that I inherited this from, the guy that I keep referring to, has been, I mean, that's what he did for a living for 40 years. Probably that was his first frame he ever used, was that one that's 40 years old. One of these frames looked kind of funny on the bottom. I was noticing it right here. I want to look at it. This one, it doesn't have the, it doesn't even have the sides. It has this, came off there, has the top, doesn't have the bottom. Okay. So I got to spend quite a bit of money to rotate all this stuff out, but to build up, I mean, just to replace the frames is going to be a lot. I mean, it's a lot. And to keep expanding my apiaries the way I want to go, it's a lot, because you're going to try to double every year, or 50% more. But in addition to that, you got to have frames with comb on there, and that's really, you saw these ones that I pulled out that have been in here since April or May, and they don't have any comb on there. It takes a long time. That's why you don't throw away your stuff. Here's one dated 93. 2010, 2002, 15. I mean, yeah, the bees clean it up. They clean it out and all that kind of stuff. I mean, but the honey's good. Man, that's just old. People will talk about the environmental pollution and that kind of stuff, and you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to add a super to that, so I netted one super up. Ooh. That's that propolis right there. You know, most of my stuff that I learned is on YouTube. And so, if I am teaching anybody anything, whether it's by seeing the wrong thing to do and seeing the results of doing the wrong thing, and maybe I haven't even recognized it yet, let that be a benefit, you know. If I've done something that's kind of different but worked out good, you know, there you go. If I ever give the impression that I'm the expert, and you know, and what I'm doing, or I would never want to criticize another beekeeper. But you know, I don't ever want to give the impression that my way is the right way, because it really isn't the right way. It's just a way, and it's the wrong way. But it does help me to learn, to even go back and watch my videos and kind of see how I approach things. I've looked at videos I did 2 or 3 years ago and be like, okay, now I know where I messed this up. You know, I should have intervened with this, or should not have done this. I shouldn't have put 5 boxes on top of each other on a package. I mean, that seems so elementary, but you know, at the time I didn't know. they need to know is to remember to bring a marker out here, a big marker that you can manipulate with gloves. I'm gonna put the Swiffer sheet. You know, I mentioned yesterday my little writing on the description. About working your bees. You got to work them. Like, I'd rather be with family right now. I'm not all at home, but I mean, I'd rather be with my family than doing this in the hot sun, but I want this to be successful. And if I ignore the bees, I'm going to be spending more time throwing away more money and not learning how to make this this project a successful operation. It'll end up costing me more time down the road. And so there's a sacrifice you kind of have to make. So if you want your bees to work well, or whatever you're doing, sometimes you have to choose to go do that. I'm not saying it has to be a priority, but you are kind of responsible for the livelihood of your, you know, as Billy Hummer would say, you're a good steward of the bees. You're not doing them any good by just leaving them alone, letting them fend for themselves. You know, so when you have a day where it's good weather and you're not doing anything at your primary job, or you don't have a family obligation, get out there and have a goal in mind. Write it down on your phone. Like, I'm gonna get out there, I'm gonna check the supers, I'm gonna try to add some supers, I'm gonna weed eat. I may not do the whole yard, but I'm gonna weed eat around the exits and underneath there. I'm gonna make sure none of the hives are knocked over by the Louisiana black bear. Lord, I hope we don't have any around here, man. I don't know how I'd respond to that. But, you know, because like yesterday, I came out here and I'm a day behind. I could have gone out there and gotten the cutouts that I did and already had them on there for today. Like, it might start raining here in 20 minutes, pouring down rain. It might rain every day for a week. It's been raining a lot. And it has put a lot of things, it puts the bees back. And then if you're not out here like checking them, making sure like, well, you need to cut it down, you need to break down their hive a little bit, change things around, find them, whatever you got to do, you're going to lose those resources to the small hive beetles, the wax moths, and things like that. A lot of people want to do treatment free. That's fine, whatever. If you're going to do treatment free, you need to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Like, I was going to do it that way. I started off wanting to do it that way. People I talked to are like, oh, the bees in nature, they survive, you know, with mites, and they live in harmony with mites. And I got in trouble in the treatment-free Facebook group, you know, making comments about it, you know, but why are you doing treatment-free? Is it because you're lazy? That's why I didn't want to go in there and treat for mites. And if I checked for the mites, and then I would have to like, well, I got to, you know, so every time I would lose my hives to small hive beetles, people that know would say, what was your mite count? Well, I didn't know because I wasn't treating for mites, because I didn't want to come out here and do a count and then find out that I didn't do it. I mean, it's just all kinds of reasons not to do it. And then I was losing every hive every year for various reasons. It was all probably due to mites. A few times I think it was because of making bad decisions, like putting big patties on, pollen patties, and then just the next 2 days getting overwhelmed with small hive beetles, and it was a strong colony and it was a new colony. But just in general, you know, I'm off on a rabbit trail here, but you know, ask yourself why are you wanting to be treatment free? Is it because you truly believe that you want to work on the genetics of the bees? Are you studying the genetics? Do you really understand what the genetics are? Or is it just because you don't feel like doing all that extra work? It's a lot of extra work. But it requires you, even if you're not doing treatments, you still need to be out here with your bees. So the days that you have off, get out there and check them. And that way, when you have those days where you have 10 straight days of, or periods of 10 straight days of rain, at least you have been kind of keeping up with it a little bit. You're not going to be that far behind when you're able to get back. And I think I've put, let me check that one for a swipper sheet. Alright, so if I put this on crossways, it means I think I got a queen in there. It's doing good. I'm gonna pick all that crap up. I'm gonna check that one for a swipper sheet. Pick this crap up. I'm gonna get on my other apiary down there. That's where my cutout is too. I probably can add a super to at least 1 or 2 boxes out there. I'm hoping that I can. And I'm gonna wait till it gets a little bit darker and then come back with those cutouts. I'm trying to figure out the best way to transport. Because I'm gonna have to close them in and drag them in the back of my truck without, I don't really have any screen ventilation. I don't think. I don't want to take that screen off there and then try to transport them. I mean, it's just a mile. So in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking about that. And that's what I was referring to earlier. Like, you're trying to problem solve, especially when you're new. You're trying to problem solve, and it doesn't help to have, you know, people out here watching you, asking you all kinds of questions. Yeah, swipper sheet right here. I want to get those bees over here safely, and I won't have to cover them up. I don't have any. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I feel like the bees are about to find their way into my suit here, so I'm gonna start picking up. And if you've watched any of this, I'll probably have some more later today. If you've watched any of this, you know, I'll look on there and I'll see, like, I got 13 people that viewed it or started to. I'm thankful if one person watches it and enjoys it, even if it's quirky or just boring. But I'm really kind of doing this for my own benefit, to hopefully make myself a better beekeeper, and then hopefully somebody else will benefit from that. And that's the main reason I'm doing this. But I do enjoy doing it. Oh, I wish. Turn that sucker off. I just want to get this off the ground. If I ever had like 1,000 subscribers, I'd probably go buy a computer then. If I can get 1,000 subscribers with the poor quality content that I have, And if I can make that content better with a computer, I'll do that. But that's a far stretch. All right, I'll turn this off here.